Ain't no need in making this money if at the end of the day, now I'ma still be broke. No. So because I did that several different times in my life. It's like it's payday, I'ma ball out. Or we going to the party, we getting new hair. Y'all, this is Tamika, the face behind Hey HR. Y'all, let me tell you something. I can't even tell you how bad I really just wanted to work in HR, but I will tell you that more so than that, I wanted to make money. I wanted to make good money. And I didn't think about it until I started working in HR and I started getting employment verifications and I'm like, oh, they buying a house?
Oh, they buying a new car?
Oh, they paying for their kids to go to college? Whatever. And I was just like, but where can I get the money from to do that? And then I realized early on in my career that I just wanted to kill my debt. I wanted to increase my net worth. And I wanted to make sure that I could do it now. I was like, I know I'm making the coins I want to make, but I want to make money now. And I want to feel like I made money. So ain't no need in making this money if at the end of the day, now I'ma still be broke. No. So how did I, me, your girl, moi, how did I kill debt on an entry-level HR salary? I'm going to tell you how I did it because I did it. And I was so proud of myself. And I just want y'all to know that you can do it too. So if you want to know how I kill debt on an entry-level HR salary, then just keep watching. So the very first thing I did was I started monitoring my spending habits. I had already watched my paid attention to my spending habits earlier in my career, and I had seen that I had just spent money in stupid places, and I got so frustrated with the fact that I couldn't get that money back, that I just literally made those dumb mistakes myself, that like I couldn't do nothing about it, that I kind of lost my drive for trying to really get my finances where it should be. But what kept me focused is that I knew I wanted to buy my own house. I knew that I wanted to stop, like every time emergency come, I had to call and ask somebody to borrow some money. And I was just like, nah, I ain't about to be living like this for the rest of my life. And I didn't want to always have to pay attention to when payday was. I noticed that people that made comfortable money, like sometimes they'll forget when payday was. And I'm like, how you forget it's payday? And I realized that you forget because your finances are already in a comfortable spot. So I wanted to get there too. So I started monitoring my spending habits again. I was pretty long ways into my career. I believe that when I really started being intentional about my spending habits, I was like 5 years into my HR career. At this time, I had finally gotten to making like, I think back then I was making like $60,000, and so I was like, okay, for the longest I've been making like $40,000, and like emergencies would pop up and it would devastate me. I couldn't sleep that good at night. I'm trying to figure out where I'm gonna get this money from. I'm moving this money here. You know the old saying, robbing Peter to pay Paul. And I was over it. And I was like, okay, now I'm making $60,000, which is really good money in my opinion, especially for a girl who came from, you know, humble beginnings. I was like, that's good money. Now what can I do? I monitor my spending habits. How did I monitor them? I literally would go back to my bank statement and I would highlight, and I wish I still had them. I literally threw them away when I moved into my house, but I kept those for a long time. And actually, I still have some of my old journals that I would write in. I guess you can call them my financial journals. I was so happy to go back to that. And I realized like, okay, well, I can stretch out how long it is before I go get my hair professionally done. What can I do at home to take care of my hair? Because hair was a big cost for me. Eating out, like fast food, eating out was a big cost for me. Like gas was a big cost for me. Well, I could just drive less or do things more in one trip. And after I monitored those spending habits and realized where my issues were, or even before I realized where my issues were, I categorized my finances. So I was like, all right, what all did I spend on bills? And in those bills, what all are fixed expenses? What are flexible expenses? Okay, and what all did I spend nonchalantly? So now that I've spent this money that are more flexible expenses, what are they? So yeah, I'm a pay the Lord, which I'm over time. Back then I didn't have this as a bill, but now I put that as a bill. That's a must have to pay my tithe. But back then it was like, okay, what all did I pay the Lord? What all did I put in gas? What all did I put in groceries? What all did I put in household items? what all did I put in eating out, what all did I put in hair, what all did I put in nails, pedicures, all of the stuff, going out with friends, whatever it was that I was doing, I categorized those things according to kind of some of my needed wants, some of my wants, like stuff I really want to live life and just be comfortable. And some of the things I was like, nah, I can throw away or I can fix. I can move those expenses in a better direction. So I categorized all of my expenses so that I could kind of track my spending even better. Not only do I want to track it and look at it, but I want to see where am I spending this money and what categories am I spending it in most. I love having Bank of America because it truly has this whole system where you can go through and just kind of see exactly where you're spending money, and it tracks it all for you according to your income, and that really helped me a lot too. I started categorizing my expenses in there too and started making adjustments to how I was spending that money. But before I moved anything around, before I made adjustments, I first created a baseline. Like, what was a baseline of things that I had to spend that I couldn't flex on? Like, what are all of my required things I have no choice that I have to spend? And even if it's something that I could flex on, what's the minimum I could spend on it? Because I really wanted to define a baseline for myself. And so I didn't just monitor this in a week. Like, I remember back in the day when I started monitoring my finances, I read some stuff on Google that was like, monitor your expenses for a week. No, it's so much better if you monitor those expenses for a month, maybe 2 months, even a year if you can. Especially with like these digital systems, now you can go back and look at a year's worth of spending. And that really helped me a lot too, because I was able to get a true baseline and to truly see exactly where I was spending money. So the next thing I did was I went ahead and I created a plan. So that all kinds of finance gurus out there, you always have folks that are just telling you different things to do. And so you have Dave Ramsey, who's going to tell you, put all your small expenses first and then knock out the small ones before you knock out the big ones. Save $1,000 for emergency. And then after you already kill all your debt, then you go ahead and save 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. And then depending on where life is, you pay for your kids' school or crush your mortgage or do both simultaneously. So you have Dave Ramsey's mind of thought, right? I believed in Dave Ramsey, and that's when I started really crushing my debt, because though Dave Ramsey later became not something that I wanted to live with every single day, it became a baseline of a plan to follow, and I started seeing a difference. The biggest thing I appreciated about Dave Ramsey is that so many of his ideas are supported by the Bible. Like, he will give you actual verses out of the Bible that you're like, oh my God, God said it. I should listen, shouldn't I? Well, listen. Over time, I realized that Dave Ramsey's entire plan isn't one that works for me. So I also back then researched Tiffany Aliche. I have bought several of her books, The Bugetnista. I even watched her speak live several times. She came to Charleston. I have watched her online, watched her on different interviews. She was a speaker in the E-Brand Club. It's just been amazing to watch her and listen to what she's saying. I feel like a lot of what Tiffany does is super basic and everyday, but it's very generalized. Like, I personally need a step-by-step. Now, she does a good job of giving you a step-by-step, but I can tell that a lot of times her materials are catered to a wider audience. I almost need a plan for Mika. So that was the part that I did like about Dave Ramsey. You always had different spreadsheets. You always had different templates. You always had a book that gave you step-by-step things. So I started merging some things from Tiffany and some things from Dave Ramsey to kind of formulate my plan. Over time, y'all make a plan that works for you. You don't have to follow any of these examples that I'm giving you. I'm just giving you examples so you can help create a baseline to create a plan, because that's what I did. I did that, and that totally helped me at that time to pay off my car early. I was able to do so many different things. I created a plan where I was like, okay, I'm going to pay off my smallest bills first, or my smallest debt first, because I do like those small congratulations or feeling like I can check something off that I got something done. But I also look at the interest rate. I want to see if I have a super high interest rate. If my interest rates are really high on some things, then I'm going to go ahead and kill those, because I'm just giving away money for free. So I kind of rearranged some of mine, especially because I had credit cards that were very close in the limits, the credit card limits. So it was easy for me to not feel bad about putting this card above this card or whatever. And so then I just went ahead and I started saying, okay, what are some of the things I can pay off that are just stupid? Like stuff I just shouldn't get. Did I get this furniture loan and I didn't need it? Back then, I paid off furniture loans early. I paid off my car early. I paid off credit cards early. I used every bit of my income to pay it off. I realized from Dave Ramsey that I didn't need to give the government all this taxes throughout the whole year unless I truly just wanted to get a tax return at the end of the year. So I would spend 6 months of my year of always going with 9 as my tax bracket, whatever, on my W-4 form. And then the next part of the year, I would go back to what it should be, which was 1. And I would spend that whole time when I have my interest rate high of killing debt. So that's what I did too. I got some of my tax money early versus waiting on a tax refund, and I paid my debt off early. I stopped going out as much. I just wasn't going out as much. When people want to go out to dinner, they want to go out to lunch, I got a reason I can't go. And it was difficult for me. I'm an extrovert. I like going out. I like being amongst the people. But financial goals were bigger for me. Another thing I started doing was I just started buying wigs, like out the ass. I bought $25 wigs all the time. Not these $100, $300, $500, $1,000 wigs these girls wear these days. I went to the hair store and get me some $25 wigs, and I would wear those. And I used to wear the half wigs, so that's why I had a little issue with a little, thinness going on in the front, because I just tuck that little thing right there and pull my hair back. And I ride on, people be like, girl, you did your hair no time. Yeah, girl, I knocked it out. Thank you. Got compliments for days on the $25 wigs. Didn't pay no more than $30. Sometimes they're $27.99. But at the end of the day, I wasn't spending hundreds of dollars on getting my hair done. Started doing my nails at home. As far as my toenails, I do them at home. I really don't get my nails done because I just stopped that trend a long time ago before I ever started HR, because I was in the medical field and you couldn't wear nails, and I just figured that was a wasted expense. So I get my nails done every blue moon, but I really don't put money on that either. Another thing I started doing was I started generating additional income. My HR money was just not enough to cut the bills back then when I wasn't making very much money. So what I said to myself is, how can I make extra money? I would hustle and bustle money. Whatever talent I could do. If it's writing a paper, if it's writing a resume, if it's whatever, I'm going to do it. If I can work this little side gig, I had little part-time jobs and stuff that I worked at a flexible schedule that worked for me. Because I was a guardian for 8 different wards of the court for like 4 or 5 years. And I did that so that can help pay for some of the luxuries I wanted or pay for the debt that I needed to pay off. And it just gave me a little bit more flexibility in my schedule. I didn't have to work like every weekend. I got paid kind of weird, like on phone calls, emails, that type of thing. And I made that work for me. Where can I get extra money? And that's what I did. I actually bought my house when I was making, I think I bought my house, I was somewhere between $60,000 and $65,000 a year. Not a ton of money. Single person, by myself. My house in my name, my deed in my name. I bought my car, that was in my name. Everything Tamika Green buys is in her name. And I was able to do that on an entry-level HR salary. Like, I just wasn't making a ton of money. I was intentional and I was cautious about how I was spending my money. I made sure to save money. I made sure to put money to the side. Like, I didn't need to make sure that I spent my whole check just because I got paid, because I did that several different times in my life. It's like, it's payday, I'ma ball out. Or we going to the party, we getting new hair, we getting new clothes. Nah, I had stopped that because I had matured. I grew up. I was like, nah, girl, that's stupid. So you just gotta be so careful about your expenses. I monitored the hell out of my money. And even when people would say, well, can I borrow $20? Because y'all know back in the day, people used to borrow like $5, $10. No, it's like, even $20. It's like into the time where people just, can I borrow $200? Like, me and my cousin were laughing about that one day, because he was like, nah, man, people don't borrow $10 and $20 no more, man. Them boys coming for hundreds. It was hard for me, but I stopped doing that too. I started saying, I ain't got it. If it wasn't in my budget, I ain't got it. And when I say my budget, I do a budget every single 2 weeks. And I actually look at my budget even more than that. Like, I update my budget on a regular basis. Get in there, get in that budget, get comfortable with it. Don't let it scare you away. Because sometimes when you know you out of the budget or you make some mistakes, you be like, I ain't looking at that budget right now. Been there, done that too. But now that forces me to really look at it. Where can I move money around? Where can I cut some things down? Because I still want to feel comfortable when I go out there to do things and be okay sliding my card, or be okay going out, or be okay helping out a friend or whatever. So I did all of those things on an entry-level HR salary. Yeah, when I was only making $20, $19 an hour, I really couldn't do much at all. I depended on a lot of people. And I feel like even then I could have done much if I had started my process earlier. I feel like it does not matter how much money you make. It totally matters how you spend your money. Like, you just got to get on a plan of being intentional about not doing stupid stuff. And that's just what I did. And I think that anybody who's watching this video, you can do it too. Like, research those names I told you about. I have so many books of so many financial folks that I just read over time, researched them. When social media became big, started following them on social media. And when you have that memory constantly hitting you, then you are more prone to follow what you know is right. So I just hope that y'all enjoyed this video and that you guys found some value in it. If you did, then I hope that you subscribe, and at minimum definitely hit the like button. But I love to hear in the comments below, like, where are you on your financial journey in your career? Like, are you where I was, or are you already found out the same mistakes I found out and you're on something new? But either way it goes, y'all, we gonna get this. We got this. Just stay focused, because you can do anything on any salary. It's all a mindset shift. It's all being intentional about what you're trying to do. It's coming up with a game plan, staying focused on it, putting yourself around people who will help you stay focused. But y'all, if you find any value out of this video, then definitely meet me on the next one, because I can't wait to see y'all on the next video.